The Denver Broncos just added fuel to a fire that's ready to explode, and this offense might be on the verge of liftoff. With the recent signing of Evan Engram, the tide could finally be turning in Denver. As advanced analytics roll in, they paint a clear and brutal picture. Last season, tight end production was one of the weakest spots on the roster. It's shocking we even made it as far as we did. But that's exactly why this move matters. This isn't just about adding a name. This is about reshaping the foundation of Sean Payton's offense. If you look back across his entire coaching career, one thing stands out. When Payton has a reliable tight end, his offenses thrive. From his days in New Orleans to now, that position has always been a cornerstone. But last year, it was almost non-existent in Denver. In fact, data shows the Broncos were at the bottom of the league in both how often they targeted the tight end and what they got out of it. We barely threw to them, and when we did, it was rarely effective. And yet, against all odds, this team pushed into the postseason, even going toe-to-toe with Buffalo at halftime in a playoff game. The craziest part, if not for a blocked field goal, we could have had 11 wins. That's how close we were, even while dragging around a tight end group that barely registered on the stat sheet. But that changes now. With Engram in the mix, the Broncos may have just found the final piece of the puzzle. This isn't hype. It's a calculated, strategic leap forward. If Payton unlocks what he's known for, and Engram delivers, this offense could reach a level we haven't seen in years. Let's talk facts. Last season, the Broncos' tight end production was dead last. Our top tight end ranked 44th in the league. That means 14 teams had backup tight ends who outperformed our starter. Let that sink in. It got so bad that even stat sites didn't bother listing us near the top. You had to scroll through the depths, the kind of pages only the most diehard fans would ever reach. And that's exactly why the signing of Evan Engram hits different. This isn't just a personnel move, it's a revelation. Because when Sean Payton has a real weapon at tight end, he doesn't just use him, he unleashes him. Go back and look at his time in New Orleans. Even names that weren't household stars, like Benjamin Watson, put up monster numbers. Watson had a season with 113 receptions under Payton's system. But the real crown jewel, Jimmy Graham, a converted basketball player who turned into a mismatch nightmare. 3-time Pro Bowler, first-team All-Pro, 16 touchdown catches in a single season. That's the kind of impact a tight end can have when Payton calls the plays. Now imagine what that kind of presence could mean for Bo Nix. And here's where it gets exciting. The Broncos might have struck gold again. In the 7th round, no less. Caleb Lohner, a former hooper from Utah. Big frame, smooth footwork, yards after the catch. And Payton has already said it. Lohner reminds him of Jimmy Graham. If that comparison even comes close to reality, Denver could be looking at the next great breakout story. And this offense might be ready to explode in ways we haven't seen in years. Let's break this down, because Evan Engram isn't just a good tight end. He's dangerous after the catch, and in that specific category, he might even be better than Jimmy Graham ever was. No, he doesn't have Graham's size. He's not the same kind of blocker or red zone Skywalker. But when Engram is healthy, like he was just 2 seasons ago in Jacksonville, he turns into a nightmare for defenders in open space. His acceleration, agility, and yards after contact ability are elite. Now, if the Broncos somehow unlock a Jimmy Graham-level threat, whether it's through Engram or a rising star like Caleb Lohner, it could completely transform this offense. Let me paint the picture for you. Jimmy Graham once slammed the football so hard into the crossbar during a touchdown celebration, he bent the goalpost. They had to stop the game to fix it. That's the kind of physical dominance Payton has worked with before. And if Denver has even a glimpse of that now, watch out. But this isn't just about New Orleans. Sean Payton's magic with tight ends goes way back. He was the mind behind one of the greatest rookie tight end seasons in NFL history, Jeremy Shockey. Back in his first year with the Giants, Shockey exploded for 74 catches, nearly 1,000 yards, and clutch grabs in the postseason. He broke franchise records and set the tone from day one. This is what Sean Payton does. He takes raw, overlooked talent and builds them into offensive weapons. Jimmy Graham, Jeremy Shockey, and now, possibly, Evan Engram or Caleb Lohner. History might just be repeating itself in Denver. Sean Payton has a history of turning overlooked tight ends into absolute stars. Back when he was with the Cowboys as assistant head coach, he worked with a rookie no one expected much from, a guy named Jason Witten. Witten's rookie season, off the charts. And that's no coincidence. It's the Payton effect. That's why Broncos fans should be fired up about Caleb Lohner. Lohner, the rookie tight end out of Utah, is already turning heads. Reports out of Otis say he's emerging as a legit red zone threat. And it's not just Denver who saw his potential. The Patriots and Colts were both eyeing him, but the Broncos got it done. That's a win. A huge one. And speaking of wins, let's talk about Evan Engram. This wasn't just a signing. It was a statement. Engram chose Denver over other tight end needy teams, including the Los Angeles Chargers. He looked at everything, the quarterback situation, the offensive scheme, and he chose Bo Nix and Sean Payton. He sees what's coming. He knows the history. Engram even said it himself. When you're a tight end in a Sean Payton offense, you eat. And he believes in Bo Nix, calling him, and Justin Herbert, 1A and 1B. That's not fan hype. That's coming straight from the man who just signed the contract. And let's be real. If you've seen Engram's recent highlights, you know what he can do. Whether he's lined up in the slot, in line, or split wide, he makes plays. Big ones. It's almost enough to make you want to skip the rest of summer and wake up in week 1. Because for the first time in a long time, the Broncos finally have a tight end who can change games. Evan Engram isn't just a versatile tight end, he's a weapon. A real one. He lined up in the slot more than any tight end in the league last season and led all tight ends in slot receptions. That's not just versatility, that's dominance. But what really sets Engram apart is what happens after the catch. His acceleration, vision, and ability to turn a short gain into a chunk play are elite. In fact, in that specific area, he might even be better than Jimmy Graham ever was. Just look at the film. Against a tough, physical Steelers defense, known for their tackling discipline, Engram turned a routine 5-yard grab into a 20-yard explosion. He didn't just survive contact, he erased it. Line him up at the line of scrimmage, feed him in the screen game, or isolate him in space, and watch him cook. He's dangerous anywhere on the field. One highlight, though, truly captures his potential in this system. Against the Packers, Engram skies over 3 defenders to come down with a contested red zone catch, something out of the Jimmy Graham playbook. There was no logical reason he should have made that grab. And yet he did. That's what makes this moment so exciting. Sean Payton built an offense that made the playoffs without a functional tight end last season. Let that sink in. Now, imagine what happens when he finally has a player like Engram in his arsenal. This is a new era for Denver. And here's my bold prediction. And honestly, it might not be bold enough. Evan Engram will hit 1,000 yards receiving this season. He has the talent. He has the coach. And now, he has the quarterback. Get ready, because this tight end room might become the engine of the Broncos' offense. Here's another bold call, and I believe it with everything I've got. Caleb Lohner is scoring at least 3 touchdowns this season. For a 7th-round rookie, that's massive, and exactly the kind of underdog story Broncos fans live for. Why? Because this isn't just about talent, it's about scheme. Sean Payton's offensive philosophy revolves around the triangle. He needs 3 core weapons: a reliable wide receiver, a dynamic running back, and a mismatch-making tight end. When all 3 are present, he can dissect any defense. Cover 2, he'll drag the safeties deep with his wideout, leak the running back underneath, and sneak the tight end right into the soft spot. It's cold, it's clinical, and when executed, it's unstoppable. And here's the truth: until now, Payton has been working without 2 points of that triangle. But that's over, because now we have them. The Broncos' backfield is locked and loaded. R.J. Harvey, J.K. Dobbins, Jaleel McLaughlin. This trio brings burst, balance, and breakaway speed. And now, with Evan Engram and possibly Lona stepping up at tight end, the triangle is finally complete. This offense isn't just going to improve, it's going to ignite. Broncos country, this is the start of something real. Sean Payton has the system, he has the personnel, and we finally have a tight end who can change the game. The fire's been lit. The fuel is ready. Now it's time to blow the roof off the AFC.